All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Um, Unfortunately, no one's joined me tonight, but hopefully for those of you that are filling out the application on your own, this will be a helpful session for you. My name is Karl LeClair. I'm the Public Art Supervisor for the City of Hillsborough. Work in the Parks and Recreation Department in the Cultural Arts Division over at the Walters Cultural Arts Center. And I'm happy to share some information about this opportunity tonight, the Hillsborough's mural roster. This is a second year that we've released a call to continue to grow and expand the current roster. It's a great tool that we use to share with anyone in the community who's interested in working or connecting with artists to develop murals or other projects. And so this is a means of sort of gaining access to being promoted and celebrated as a muralist and artist within our community. And helping to kind of ease the process of connecting with artists, whether it's projects that are started through the city or privately initiated projects or community-based projects. It's proven so far to be a great tool. We've had quite a few requests over the past year, and we're currently using the roster to implement a mural over at the M&M Marketplace right now. So two of our finalist artists were selected through the roster for that opportunity. And we continue to plan to have other city commissioned opportunities, as well as we've been hearing from various organizations or businesses with the community that they're interested as well in connecting with artists. So great opportunity to get your work out there and then be considered for projects as they come up. So just a quick overview of what we're going to cover this evening. Talk a little bit more about the roster. We'll take a look at the existing roster, and then I'll walk us through the application form and the different ways that you can submit the application. And I'll chat through, some of the questions that we encountered last year. As I said, there's no one here tonight to ask any questions, so I'll try to anticipate some of those questions that might come up. But please feel free to reach out directly to me. My contact information is on the website, on the public art page, and I'll navigate there shortly. So as I mentioned, the mural roster, we released the initial call last year, and the opportunity, I'll actually pull it up here, share my screen. And so this opportunity came about. The city received through Cultural Arts, we received some funding to invest in murals. So you've probably seen, if you're in Hillsborough or in the area, you've seen some murals recently going up. A couple were completed along 10th Ave. We have a suite of digitally reproduced murals at the new Main Street Commons development. And we're just in the process of collecting community feedback on two finalist designs for the M&M Marketplace. And so there's been an added sort of increased interest in murals in Hillsborough, and we've been looking for ways to create some ease in the process when responding to quick deadlines or timelines for projects that might come up through the city, but also looking to better serve the community and provide a resource where we can essentially just hand over the roster to anyone who's interested in developing a mural. They can look through your portfolio, a little statement about your work, and contact you on their own, or we can sort of facilitate communications with them to connect with you. We also share, some best practices in terms of how to plan for a mural project, working with artists. So this is part of us providing a service to the community and also supporting you as artists. And so we do have a fairly forward-looking mural program here in Hillsborough. Back in 2014, murals were sort of untied from the sign code, and the review and approval authority was given to the public art program. And so also on our website, we have an application and review process laid out for community members, might be property owners or business owners, community organizations who are interested in developing murals. It's a fairly simple process to follow. And the roster just becomes another tool in that sort of cadre of resources for us. And so we currently have, we'll get back to the call here in just a minute, but we currently have a list of just over 30 artists who were pre-qualified in last year's application process. And we've got the link right there on the artist opportunities page to the existing roster. And this is a document that we share out when we get requests in. And so we've organized it with a little bit of information about the roster, how the roster is developed, kind of an overview of commissioning a mural. So this is really geared towards community members who are interested in developing a mural. We have a list of artists. This is you can navigate to any of the artists in the list by clicking their name, or you can scroll through. And just a quick sort of overview of what the final roster looks like. We'll include a selection of the images that you send. We'll include your contact information along with any social media or website you might have, and then include a brief statement. And so this is meant for anyone who's viewing the roster to get a pretty quick sense of who you are as an artist, what your mural making practice looks like, and whether or not they want to learn more about you or reach out and contact you. And as you can see here, as I'm kind of quickly scrolling through, we hope that the roster will be representative of a broad range of different types of murals, different materials, different approaches to mural making, and different types of content and skill level. We don't know or can anticipate, the types of projects that might come to us, whether it be a small interior project, large outdoor project, or something more unique. So we really encourage everyone who's interested in making murals to apply. Depending on, it doesn't matter if you have a whole portfolio of completed projects, if you're a well-established artist, or if you're just emerging and hoping to gain more experience. We really encourage you to apply, because you never know when that opportunity comes up that will connect perfectly with your skill set. And so hopefully that, this is a good, Emily's portfolio here is a good example where Emily has a few documented completed murals, but also included some of their portfolio work, which kind of points to, aspirations for a mural practice, other ideas of, large scale paintings or large scale works that might translate into a mural practice. So we'll talk about that a little bit more when we look at submitting images for the application. So hopefully that gives you kind of a good sense of, how you and your work will be represented in the roster, in the ways in which we'll use it. So get back to the application process. So we're here at the Artist Opportunities page, City of Hillsborough website. If you just type City of Hillsborough Artist Opportunities, it should take you right there. If you just go to the Hillsborough City of Hillsborough website, you can navigate on the left-hand side here, go to Parks and Recreation. We're buried a little bit down here in the arts section, Artist Opportunities. And then you'll have to click the drop down here to expand a little bit more detail. High level here on this page, we have kind of the critical information, the application deadline that's coming up Wednesday, August 23rd, 5 p.m. We won't consider any applications that come in after that deadline, so please make sure that you get it in on time so we can consider you. The roster is open to mural artists or artists who are, striving to be in the mural making realm within 200 miles of Hillsborough. And this was kind of an intentional parameter that was set around locations, in that we really want to serve the local community. So we want artists who are living and working in and around Hillsborough to be available, and also for sort of ease of access when contacted about a project, that there's not going to be a whole lot of travel expenses and other travel logistics involved in being able to complete a project. So if you fall sort of just outside of that that perimeter, that's a good question to reach out, check with me. We might be able to, fit you in, but really looking to be a little bit more localized here to Hillsborough. And then we have a couple links down here. I just clicked on that link to the mural roster. The existing one, we've also given the opportunity, once you Once you are selected as part of the roster, when we release the call on an annual basis, we also reach out to all the existing artists on the roster and ask them if they want to, one, continue to be on the roster, two, if they have any information to update. So this gives an opportunity if you've changed your address or contact information or website or social media, you have the opportunity to refresh that on an annual basis, as well as updating your portfolio images. And so if there's new work that you feel is better representing you and your practice, we update that and refresh it. So it becomes a living document. It becomes still a relevant tool to use. And so if you don't get selected this year, it always gives you more time to create work or update your portfolio, and better position yourself to be selected in the future. So we have a couple different ways to apply here. We have this first read the complete call to artists link will link to a PDF, and that PDF can be filled out, printed out, and then either mailed or hand delivered to us at the Walters, or we have this really great online application. So I'll start with the PDF call first. And so again, this kind of repeats some of that critical information, the application deadline, the budget. We don't have a specific budget right now, but we will assign specific budgets to projects if the city commissions projects. If it's a privately generated project, then that business or property owner will work out and negotiate those details directly with you. Again, the eligibility contact, there's my information right there. If you have any questions, again, please don't reach out, or please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to chat, answer questions, talk through logistics, help you complete the application. We want you to be successful here. So the description, I kind of covered most of that and how we plan to use the roster and what it means to be included and who will contact you. The location details, kind of like the funding, that will be sort of determined based on the specific project as it comes up, or again, negotiated with a private entity. General timeline for this entire process. This is really focused on generating the roster. So we anticipate having a selection process happen in September after the call closes, and then updating the roster and posting it to the website by October or sometime into the fall. We're here at the application workshop. No one made it tonight, but again, hopefully this information is helpful to you. A little bit of background, I talked a little bit about that in terms of the unpairing the mural process from the sign code and allowing the public art program to review those applications. So that kind of covered the background. Desired outcomes. So we're really hoping to grow and expand our investment in murals here in Hillsborough, not just from the city side, but also in incentivizing and encouraging investment from private parties. And so again, this is just another tool that we can use to help support artists and connect artists to project opportunities. All of the applications here with the selection committee will be reviewed by the committee. So this will be local community members. The Hillsborough Arts and Culture Council oversees our work in the Cultural Arts Division. We'll have some other community members, local artists, who will review all the applications and determine who gets in and who doesn't. And through that process, we always encourage the committee to provide us with feedback. So if, for example, you don't get selected, we try to collect as much information as to why that decision wasn't made, and try to be as transparent about the process as possible. In last year's application round, we only had a handful of artists that didn't become qualified for the roster, and it was mostly based on not having really enough in the portfolio to demonstrate that they could take on a mural project. And so I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the image requirements. Some of the application instructions and requirements. So what we're asking for, and this is really to fill out exactly what you saw in the actual roster itself. with contact information. We want a little bit of a statement and bio about you. Keep, the statement and bio as opposed to having like a resume or a CV. We want this to be more narrative. And you should keep it related to your mural-based work. If you do, if you're represented by galleries or have been featured in major exhibitions or have other related work as a designer or illustrator, all of that can be helpful to mention. But we really want to hear about your mural making practice. So share with us what you think is relevant and what you think is appropriate to share with anyone who might look at the roster to make a decision about whether or not they want to work with you. And then the portfolio, the past work samples. So we're looking for 6 examples of past projects. And here we've listed past mural projects or large scale paintings or other projects that kind of demonstrate your ability to take on a commissioned project. And so I would say we definitely want to see some mural projects, or if you have, large scale paintings on canvas or other surfaces that, would translate or be read as sort of a mural type project, include those. I think it's good to think about creating a mix of different examples of projects. If you don't have 6 examples, that's fine. It's always best to include the work that best represents what you're making right now. So if you don't have 6 examples and you have 3 or 4 really good examples of projects, just include those. Oftentimes I see committees will look at sort of a varied mix of past work samples, and maybe it could include like really old work and some newer work, and the committee can get confused about what you're making and what to expect if they choose to work with you. And so really try to focus in on presenting the work that you want to make, that you're striving to make, and that you feel best represents your practice right now. So that will help sort of, for lack of a better word, sell your work to anyone who might consider commissioning you. The final piece that we're asking for here is an image list. So this is a separate document, or as we'll see in the Cognito form, it will just include additional information about each of those images. So we want to know the title, materials, dimension, the year completed, and then the additional comment section is kind of it's the one opportunity aside from your statement and bio to include your voice in the process. So if for example, you're including 3 examples of large scale paintings and then 3 examples of murals, call that out in the additional comment section. Say this was a 6 foot by 6 foot oil on canvas that could be translated into mural or whatever you want to say about it, but use that additional comment section. It's a nice piece to share a little bit of additional information with the committee, and will help us sort of contextualize your work as we're presenting it to the committee. So each of these, we have one PDF or Word document for the statement bio, and then 1 page for the image list. And then each of the images should be included separately. A few more details in terms of submitting the application here. I'm going to go to that Cognito form here in just a minute, which makes it very easy to make sure that you've included all of the required details. But if you don't like that, you can fill out the application form here and then save your image list, your bio statement, and images onto a thumb drive. And you can either mail it to this address here, the Walters Cultural Arts Center, or you can hand deliver it. We always have someone at the front desk right as you enter into the Walters, and you can just simply drop it with them. To go to the Cognito form now. Oh no, that's not good. Well, we'll go back out here and use the link here. Okay. So essentially we've narrowed down the information, so best to look through all those requirements in the PDF form. This sort of leaves out all that background information and the timeline. It just brings you right to the actual application. And so again, information is all the same: contact information, statement bio, portfolio, image list. And the nice thing is that this form just allows you to fill everything out. You can see the little red star there that indicates what's required. And you won't be able to submit this form until everything's been uploaded properly and um, input. And so you can upload or drag all your images here, upload your image list, or you can just type it out here. So this makes it a little bit easier to submit, and it will send you a confirmation email once it's been submitted, so you know we have it. So pretty quick. So with that, I still see that no one has joined here. And so I'm going to stop sharing. And call it a day. So again, hopefully this information was helpful for you. And please reach out to me, if you have any questions during the application process, run into any issues, or if you just want to chat about the public art program, chat about murals, talk about your practice and your process. I'm always happy to be there. So thank you very much. Hope you have a good one.